Over the last decade or so, rap has developed into what can only be described as a genre of attention-seeking, where artists appear to be far more concerned with what they have over and above the content of their actual bars. And that's because of this newfound mentality that rappers have ended up purchasing some of the dumbest things you could ever imagine. But what are the strangest things that rap artists have purchased over the years? And how much did they end up shelling out for these various items? Well, whether you're a fan of the genre or just want to know more about the lifestyles of the rich and the famous, you've come to the right place, as we're about to explore some of the dumbest things rappers have spent their money on in an attempt to show off their wealth. So strap yourselves in and get ready to facepalm, as things are about to get interesting. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with the notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the new videos we post. Interact with us, subscribe and hit the notification button to be notified when we upload more content. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment down below. Thanks! Number 1. Those diamond teeth. We don't know how grills actually became a thing in the rap game, as they look absolutely ridiculous, but it was in the late 2000s that rappers began to pimp their teeth out with some of the craziest jewelry money can buy. One of the first rappers to make grills a part of his image was Lil Wayne, who purchased quite a few sets for himself, including a diamond version, which went for around $150,000. We understand that this was the image he was going for, which along with his eyelid tattoos clearly worked for the fan base he was building, but we can't help to think that the $150,000 could have been spent elsewhere to great effect, especially since grills aren't exactly in at the moment anymore. That being said, Lil Wayne isn't the only rapper who decided to invest in this little appearance modifier. Birdman was also known to spend quite a bit on grills, reportedly purchasing a set for around $500,000 back in the day. Talk about a $500,000 smile, right? Number 2. Maybachs all around. More often than not, rappers come from nothing and make a name for themselves to ensure that they could put food on the table without having to resort to street life. But somewhere along the line, they end up losing themselves in the vast amount of riches they have earned, using it to spoil their children and not foster a working attitude within them. Since this isn't a parenting video, we'll stop ourselves there. But Diddy ended up drawing some similar criticism after his song Justin Dior Combs appeared on MTV's My Super Sweet 16. For those of you who don't remember, this show was all about the extravagant ways that the wealthy would spoil their children upon turning 16, introducing the world to some of the worst brats money could, well, buy. So what did Diddy do to contribute to this? Viewers watched in horror as he paid for one of the most lavish parties that any 16-year-old has ever experienced. When it came time for gifts to be exchanged, he unveiled that he had bought his son a $360,000 Maybach as his first car. Things were made worse by the fact that Justin couldn't even drive at that point, having just turned 16 and all. But that's not all, as a single year later, Diddy decided to hand his son another Maybach for his 17th birthday, probably because he had scratched up the first. This means that in total, Diddy ended up spending around $756,000 for both vehicles in under a year. Number 3. The experience of a lifetime. There's no doubt that Drake is one of the most famous rap artists in the world right now, with his songs reaching massive amounts of popularity that they span memes and TikTok challenges alike. And unfortunately for our generation, you don't really get much bigger than that when it comes to the music industry today. That being said, this doesn't exclude Drake from our list of the dumbest purchases ever made, with his coming to fruition back in 2011. As the story goes, Drake was supposed to be interviewed in his mansion by Complex, but had changed the venue due to the fact that he was getting some work done at the time. When asked about the work that had prevented the interview from taking place at his home, he mentioned that he was taking a step towards absolute luxury, getting an addition to his bathroom that he always wanted. This addition was none other than an experience shower, which he explained as follows. It's a shower that is lit by all LED lights. It has 10 jets and overhead, and it sprays out lavender or whatever scent you want. It's something I've always wanted. And while we have no idea just how much Drake ended up paying for this peculiar experience, we know that it couldn't have come cheaply. In fact, it sounds like a custom job, since we couldn't imagine anyone else really wanting a shower that doubles as a budget jacuzzi. Number 4. The sneakers of the future. Next up on our list is Tinny Tempa, whom we can't really hate on for the next purchase, but understand how the majority of the world would view it as a dumb purchase. You see, the rapper has a pretty big love for the Back to the Future franchise, and has always had an affinity for the sneakers that Marty McFly wore in the second installment of the franchise, when riding the infamous hoverboard. So when Tinny rocks up to a charity event in 2007 and saw a limited edition pair of 2011 Nike Mag sneakers that had been based on the design in Back to the Future, he just knew that he had to have them. It also didn't help that he had a massive sneaker collection at that point, and had been looking for a pair of quality Nikes to round it off. The rapper ended up bidding an amount of $37,500 on the shoes, which he took home that very day and added to his collection. A dumb purchase, most definitely, but we completely understand where he was coming from. We would have probably done the same thing if we had the money. Number 5. A diamond-studded remote control car. Next up on our list of rappers with more money than they know how to spend is The Game, who decided to spend an absolute fortune having a remote control car of his son's kitted out by his own personal jeweler. While the remote control Bentley GT was probably expensive in its own right, the cost of having it pimped out by adding around 150 carats of diamonds to his body was definitely overkill. In fact, according to The Game, this cost him approximately $98,000 $1 million to do. What makes this absolutely ridiculous is that after the modification of the remote-controlled car, the toy almost cost as much as an actual Bentley GT. Posting a picture on his social media, he also included in the caption that his son's college tuitions have already been paid up, so people should relax when it comes to criticizing him for spending money on irrelevant things. That's one way to hit back at the haters, but shows that the game knew that this was a dumb purchase from the start. When your child says that he wants a car just like yours, it doesn't mean that you have to cover his remote-controlled car in diamonds. Just buy the little guy a chocolate bar and move on. Number 6. The Crunk Ain't Dead chain. It goes without saying that rap artists love their jewelry. Just recently, we learned about Tekashi69 splurging and buying himself a collection that is well over $10 million. Although we're not too sure whether there is any truth to the realism of what he ended up buying, what we are sure about is the amount that Little John ended up paying for his most famous chain back in March of 2007. We are of course talking about his Crunk Ain't Dead chain, which he had commissioned for around $500,000. The chain weighs an insane 2.3 kilograms and has a grand total of 3,756 diamonds encrusted on it. The legendary necklace actually holds the record for the largest necklace pendant ever, which is why he was forced to hold it in his hands each and every time he decided to wear it. Sounds a little bit too much effort for us, but we're sure he had fun showing people just how much money he had available to waste. And hey, he probably got a great neck workout at the end of the day, on top of looking a little ridiculous. Number 7. Pure Ice. Another rapper that makes it on this list because of his affinity for expensive chains is Mike Jones, who spent well over $1 million to have his infamous Ice Age chain created. The chain itself was 360 degrees of pure diamond and ended up being made of around 100 carats of the expensive material. Unfortunately for him though, this piece was actually stolen from him while he was sleeping, making it one of the worst purchases he has ever made. Here's to hoping he has some crazy insurance on it. Number 8. A rendition of the Sistine Chapel. Last but not least, we have the man who considers himself to be a god of the industry, and for a while now has been over-reporting what his net worth is in an effort to become a record holder. We are of course talking about the one and only Kanye West, who ended up spending approximately $350,000 to have Ernie Barnes paint a rendition of the Sistine Chapel on Kanye's dining room ceiling. Rather than having God reaching out to touch the finger of Adam, however, this rendition, aptly named A Life Restored, shows a larger angel reaching out to touch the smaller finger of West. And here we thought he was going to replace God in the painting. Either way, $350,000 is a lot to spend just to pump up your ego. But what do you think of these purchases? Be sure to let us know in the comment section down below.